everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Barbara and I'm so happy that you are here today because today I'm here to talk to you about the books I read in November. So in November I read 5 books. I only have one of them with me physically. It is called What Climate Justice Means and Why We Should Care by Elizabeth Cripps. This was my book club pick for my book club Climate's book club, and it was picked for the September and October. So we had chat at the beginning of November, and it is a non-fiction book about climate justice and why it's so important and what it is basically and how it affects people, how it affects everyone on the planet, how it affects the entire planet really, and what we can do about it to make it better. At least that's what the book said it was going to do, but I was not a fan of this book. We didn't have a live discussion of this, so I will link that down below if you would like to check it out, what we said in the discussion and like more in depth what we thought, me and other people in the book club. But I did not like this one from my previous understanding of climate justice or of the meaning of climate justice. Climate justice is basically about how marginalized people are affected proportionately by climate change. In any country, in anywhere really. And so I expected we would dive into these things, how the governments actually make the decisions about certain things that affect poorer communities more than richer, for example, and stuff like that. But this book was not that at all. This book was talking about any kind of injustice, ever, anywhere. And it just felt like too vague, too broad of a topic. Basically just me breathing is injustice. Just because I'm white and I live in the global north, it is unjust to people in the global south that I even exist and I have heating. And that is climate injustice according to this author. Which, to be honest, it just didn't sit well with me, this kind of explanations and this attack on every single person. And white man is the evil man, or like is the absolute evil, and it seemed as if they were creating, like white men are creating climate change in order to oppress other people, which is not true. So it's crazy. I didn't like this book at all. I think I gave it 2 stars. I don't even remember for what. I did not like this book at all. I would not recommend, and I don't know, I don't even have a better recommendation for you about climate justice because I still haven't found any. The only book that talked about climate justice somewhat like eloquently and like it was clear to understand was What I Can Do by Jane Fonda. But otherwise I'm still looking for a book on climate justice that is going to address the things that are important and that matter. So anyway, this is the first book. So we started November not very well. In the same atmosphere, same mood as the previous 2 months. But from here we move on to Eragon. I read Eragon by Christopher Paolini. We created a buddy read or kind of a read along on my Discord server. We are now reading Eldest together, so you can check it down below. There is a link to the Discord if you would like to join. But yeah, I read Eragon, which is a YA fantasy, epic fantasy book. It was released back in 2005, I believe, and I've never read it. Even though I heard about it so much, and back then when I was a kid, or like when it kind of came out, my best friend loved it so much, and I still didn't read it until last month. And it was really nice. It wasn't anything special, but it was really interesting. I like the characters, I like the, especially the dragon. The dragon is absolutely hilarious. I love the dragon, my favorite character for sure. And there are some questionable decisions made, of course, but the characters grow. There is very good world building. It's not too bloody, it's not too political. It feels like it's very nice, balanced fantasy, and I enjoyed it. I think I gave that one a 3-star, 3.5. Like, it wasn't brilliant, but it was a good book. Good enough that I wanted to continue. Eragon is basically about, or starts with Eragon, who is about 15 years old when we start the book, and he is hunting in the forest, and suddenly a huge stone falls off of the sky, and he picks up the stone, he keeps the stone, and after some time the stone turns out is a dragon egg and it hatches. And so Eragon becomes a dragon rider because the dragon hatched for him. And we go on to some adventures from there, and political machinations and stuff. So it is fun. It is a good book. Next up I read Wrong Place, Wrong Time by Gillian McAllister, I believe is her name. This is a thriller. I kind of thought it was sci-fi, but that's could be. Technically it could be kind of sci-fi. This is about a woman who is waiting for her son to come home. Her son is about 18 years old, senior in high school, and she waits for him to come home. And when he is coming back on the street, he meets this man who then the son ends up killing this guy. And so he's arrested. They go to police and like what happened, because Todd has always been such a good guy. How come he suddenly murders someone? And the next day the woman wakes up and it is one day before the murder. And then the next day she wakes up and it's one day before the murder. And it goes back in time like this. Basically the entire book. Spoiler. And so due to that it got kind of repetitive, because every day she goes backwards. She's trying to figure out what actually happened, and she discovers some things and what led to it and everything, and who these people are, because she didn't know the person at the time. And yeah, so she goes back in the time and tries to find out what happened, but it gets a bit repetitive. It's the same thing all over, kind of. Not exactly, but kind of. But then the ending was very interesting. I really, really liked the epilogue and how it all wrapped up. I did like the ending, but just now I actually realized that there is one thing that was never solved and we don't know. But overall, I did like the ending. I loved the epilogue. It was really, really good. I really appreciated that, actually. It makes you think. And yeah, that was that. I think it's a good, nice 3 stars, right in the middle. It was I expected much more from it, so it was a little bit disappointing, but it was good. Next book I read was Ultimate Comics Thor. This was for the DC Comics-a-thon, hosted by Ewald on his Discord server. This is basically just the comics. It is 4 issues of the Thor Ultimate Comics. I just flew through that because it's really short. It's like 120 pages or something like that. And it's nothing special. It's about Thor and Loki and Odin. And we go between 3 different timelines and what happened and everything. So it was interesting, but I'm not into comic books for obvious reasons. Like, it's just not enough for me just to see pretty pictures and see a couple bubbles of what the characters say. I need much more than that. So it was a very strong average for me, this book. And then the last book I read in November was 5 Gold Rings by Kristen Bailey. This is a romance book. It was just released in October, so it's brand new. I listened to it on audiobook. The narrator was very, very good. I really enjoyed the narrator. And yeah, it is a romance book. We've got main character Eve, who comes home on 23rd of December to like come home, prepare everything for Christmas so they can go for Christmas at her boyfriend's family. But when she gets home to their apartment, she catches her boyfriend in a shower with another woman. And so, of course, she breaks up with him and she starts throwing stuff out of the window and she's mad and, of course, everything. They've been together for 3 years. And as she's throwing stuff out, she also finds out that he actually was planning to propose because there was a ring for her under the tree, which is really strange. Anyway, she's devastated, of course. And it's just one day before Christmas, so she kind of ends up alone because she doesn't want to ruin the Christmas for her family. And so she ends up going to these people who she finds that she can trust, and they are always very understanding and comforting. And it is a place where she works or like has like extra job. It is a jewelry store. And when she's there, the owners call Joe, who is our other main character, who works also at the jewelry store, and we know that he always had a crush on Eve. But since she had a boyfriend, he never acted on it. And now they call him because maybe he can help distracting her or like, getting over it. and there is some mix-up with the orders at the jewelry store. So they sent a wrong order to the wrong person, and the correct orders did not get delivered. So now Eve and Joe go on a mission to deliver 5 golden rings for people for Christmas who are trying to have like a wedding, so they need a wedding ring or engagement or whatever they have. And so they go around trying to deliver these rings, and they experience all kinds of things. And it was just so much fun. It was really sweet. It was really funny. The characters are really nice. The main character, Joe, his favorite Christmas song is Driving Home for Christmas by Chris Rea, which is my favorite Christmas song. So he's got a point on my side. We like Joe here. But yeah, it was a really nice, sweet Christmas romance. I have to say, it is really fast. It takes place maybe during 2 or 3 days, the book. And as we know, it's a romance. We know what happens. So to me, it felt like she kind of moved on very fast from her 3-year-old relationship. But it's a romance book, so I guess we can, give a little leeway for that. But yeah, otherwise, it was a really fun book. I really enjoyed it. So I definitely recommend if you're searching for a Christmassy rom-com book this year. That is all the books that I read in November. It kind of picked up, it steadily picked up throughout November. So I really hope that books I'll be reading in December are gonna be all great. And then I'm coming back strong. We'll see. But that is all for this video. If you read any of these books that I talked about today, let me know down in the comments what you thought about them. We can discuss them. And yeah, hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!